Nancy Ryer's mother passed away, the
I
wake's
just
tonight,
found out about that.
and the funeral's tomorrow.
Okay, now we are,
Sergeant Vales.
now we are.
Hey, lad.
Yeah, Danny Vale, Danny Vale passed away.
That's tonight too. What happened to him? Oh, well, that's,
Danny Vale, I don't know.
what's your name? Can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, Tim Gannon?
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
About our age.
We're gonna start with Al.
Yeah?
That's
Okay. Al, what's going on? Sit down, have a seat.
Al, how are you?
All right, so I come to you today to,
Get in our wallet?
yes, well, actually our wallet. So this is gonna be a no-cost item for the town or the taxpayers. So what I have worked up, because we know that a completely new building is off the table financially.
Bill Rothar coming?
I have it.
Well, this is updated with all the numbers.
Oh, you got an old one, okay.
So what I did was, we took some existing drawings and put together a proposal that shows that we would like, at 260,000 square foot, we would need approximately $1.5 million to put this extension on page 3, which is this one.
I'm only interested in the dollars.
Okay, so if you look at the dollars and cents, our
I mean,
estimate.
no, go ahead, go through,
Go ahead.
go,
No, I-
go through your,
I
so
know what
which
you're-
extension are you looking at?
Well, it's broken down, but the last page is what the final rendition will look like.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. So if you look at, from 2013, where we had 422 calls and we went up to 515 for MVAs in 2016, and based on our projected billings, we could obviously support a 150,000 plus whatever interest and stuff would be attached to a bond and fees to pay for it based on the numbers that are there in front of you.
That's a shame that the ambulance,
Well, what
it's a shame that the ambulance didn't do this sooner, right, John?
Well,
Well, you know something?
I don't wanna rehash.
We
stuff
didn't
I'm
have any,
sure.
extra money to do it sooner, so,
Right.
you know,
And
the
now we
accident-
have it,
we should have, billed earlier. The problem I'm having is not with the ambulance, it's with all the equipment sitting outside.
right, well, so the problem here,
$200,000 worth of
here's the
equipment.
problem. So the building was commissioned in 1989. There has been no infrastructure updates to it since, other than general maintenance. We, initially, back then, we have quadrupled our call volume. We're at 4,200 last year, and we're anticipating it going higher this year. With the expansion of the town of Riverhead, and the addition of communities, additional buildings, and all of the demands that are needed from us for now, for special events, we need a more robust infrastructure so that we're able to support all of that.
Okay, so we need Bill Rothar here, because this is not even something that,
Well, presenting it to you, I mean,
Right.
obviously, this is not gonna happen overnight, but
so you think the extension's $1.5 million?
we got an estimate, well, we put it out for 4 different people for estimates, and the estimate came in from the one person who would actually submit one because of all of the constraints with dealing with municipality
Prevailing wage,
buildings.
paying prevailing
Yes.
wage and everything?
Yes, so we were able to get one person to submit, and it came in at $260 a square foot.
But don't forget too, which storage area in the old barn, the old municipal garage, or the ambulance garage, was built for vans, not trucks. With the gas engines, and the smooth running of the trucks now, buying trucks with the gas engine is a lot better than, the van.
Well,
So,
But they're a longer unit.
it's a
right,
longer
take
unit,
up
it
more
won't fit in with
Right,
the
would be a
storage.
longer unit, but we have already seen about an 80% reduction in maintenance costs
With the
just
gas.
switching to the new chassis.
The gas.
Which is what we were trying to
Right,
accomplish as
yes.
part of the remounts, which was to save taxpayer money, to get new ambulances on the road that were more efficient and didn't require the maintenance of the diesels, because they were spending 80% of their time at Ford getting put back together.
I have a couple of schools of thought. One, I don't think anybody sitting at this table would argue that you certainly need to grow with the community. There's no doubt about it. We see it with the schools, we see it with the fire department. and you're behind the times, we'll give you that. Now, I know one of the biggest problems with sleeping quarters, this is just a
This would-
floor plan, is there a rendering, there's gonna be a second floor or
Well,
something on this?
No, there's not a second floor, it's a first floor, the addition on the back, so what it will do, that's why it's broken down into the individual sections. So if you look at, page 2, I will show you the additional 2 bays.
Hey,
which will-
Larry, could you stay here?
which will store the new ambulance, the 5th ambulance that we got, that is
Okay.
sitting outside because we don't have a place to put that. We'll also allow for the first responders to be parked in there, so that in the winter, we do not have to declutter them with snow or ice prior to responding to a call, which is a delay.
Okay.
You have a right, or leave them running 24 hours. Then you have the storage room, we have a decontamination room, so that we can decontaminate our equipment. And then another storage on the other side, which would be used for all of the software and stuff that we have to keep on hand for use. As you move on, then it would move the offices that we currently have to the outside where that 35 by 20 extension is on the right side of the building.
Okay,
And
Al, do you
that,
have a copy of that for the press?
yeah, sure. And then,
okay.
the current
You wanna give
office.
it to him now, or you wanna wait?
We could wait,
They wanna see them while you're
I
talking
wanna see
about
it
it.
now.
Oh,
Don't you feel
oh,
the stare at the back of your head?
It's just better to understand what you're, a lot of
Yeah,
things
behind
that
you
we
two,
were-
yeah.
So currently, where the current
Sorry.
office is and the,
So the current office would become quarters,
okay,
a bunk room, so that people that are staying overnight to answer the calls in the middle of the night would not have to respond from home
okay.
to
That's what I was-
answer those
that's what I was
additional
gonna-
calls.
right now they're laying on the couch and then-
Because, driving 15 minutes to the barn to pick up an ambulance, then to go to a call, obviously increases the response time.
I get it.
It's very confusing, the way this is done. What is the total square footage of the expansion? Because the first page says 760, second
Okay,
4820, and then 5720, and then
They're showing the different
5720,
stages.
so.
Right, so the total would be 5,720 when it was totally done.
The new edition,
Right.
totally 8,500.
Right, and that's basically a wraparound from one side of the building, goes around the back and comes around on the other side, and it supplies all those additional workspaces. Yeah.
Now,
Right,
we've
so that-
received any money?
We've received
I just
about,
approved the $900 bill.
So
Oh.
these projections are based on, these are projections
You
on
thought that
stuff
was
that's built
funny,
out.
didn't you?
you were the first one, so you should be proud
That
of
was the
that.
first, that was
You were the
first.
first bill.
We
Did we
should
pa-
hang that
You were
up.
the first bill.
We were the
Yeah.
first bill,
Yes.
yes. Huh?
Yes.
So everybody knows the town of Riverhead is paying for MVA medical
right.
billing as well.
That's it, see?
So, but we've received about 14,000 in returns right now, but we have
Well, one of our police
over
officers.
$100,000 of payables that have to come in yet, because the insurance, we have 45 days to submit to them, and then they take 60 days to pay CAG, and then CAG has to transfer the checks to us because they're in our name, then we have to deposit them, clear them.
So we're about 3 months behind.
Well, that's.
Well,
Once the
but
3
once
months
it
catch
starts,
up,
right now we
it'll-
started
it'll be,
collecting, it'll be a
Yeah,
regular,
it'll be a regular thing.
financial
So
flow.
what do you
We
think?
knew
it-
that going in, that was it.
So I'm looking at our projection is for this year is $326,000 and,
So
would be
there's-
if we were billing from January.
And
Obviously,
you think this whole thing only costs about,
I'm thinking it's gonna cost us about $1.5 million based on the 260 a square foot, and with the projection.
not even have to bond this?
Well, I
I-
didn't know what was in the best interest
So
of the town.
We have to sit down,
Well, if it's a
Two
million and a
things-
half, it's gonna
two
cost you
things have to
2 and a
happen.
quarter, just to
The-
let you know. Because it's never, you know that.
Well,
it's
no,
gonna-
this guy is a, he
but we
was
gotta-
straightforward, because I said to him, I go, listen, I don't want you to come back to me down the road and tell me, well, this cost overrun. He's like, no, the number I give you,
and he's paying prevailing wage rate.
yes, he's paying, what is
Doesn't
it?
matter, we still have to go out for an RFP,
Yeah.
so he can definitely respond to the
Yeah,
RFP.
well, he'll probably be the only one, because we went to four builders, and he was the only one that would actually give us a document,
Well, we'll see.
so.
What would be a yearly, and I know you probably don't know the answer to this, the yearly cost of the town for $1.5 million bond with interest?
I don't know what your bond
I
rating is,
don't know
so
what
I couldn't
the,
figure
Okay,
it out.
That's what we need,
This is a
Bill.
bill,
Yeah, this is
you
a-
gotta figure about 4%.
Right.
The bond rating's good, so it'd be, we figure about 4, but we usually sell them, we expect to sell them for less than
Right.
4.
I'm
But the-
figuring 150,000 payback over a 10-year cycle just for the principal. Now, whatever the additionals are would come out of that, but there's double that amount coming in each year, so I don't think we would even get close to that.
And the question is, there's $500,000 in the reserve account now, because
Right.
I've been building the reserve account for just this.
Absolutely.
So what we really need you to do, this is not a problem, this seems realistic, not the building you guys.
Right, no, this is not
10
the
years
Taj
ago, we were
Mahal,
trying to
this
build
is,
for
this is
10
basically
million.
to meet the needs of the community
Right.
and to make sure that our vehicles
Well,
are.
actually, we're saving money here, because we built your new building, it was gonna cost us $7 or $8 million, maybe even more than that.
Well,
So actually, we're
you don't
saving
know.
money by this.
You get a prefab building, but
Huh?
anyway, that's all to be
That's done.
discussed.
That, we stopped that in 2009.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
They
so-
were building another firehouse.
Yes,
That's what they
yeah,
were
yeah,
designing.
they were.
So,
So that, this is gonna save us money.
6,000 square foot prefab building, you could probably get for that, but
this is where I think
Well,
we need to.
let me just expound on that. So this is not just the structure. The problem is we don't have three-phase electric in the building, which we need for the air conditioning units to cool the garages. We're currently, the capacity of the HVAC system cannot meet the demands of the garage, and there are times we have to remove the drugs from the ambulances
understood.
and put them inside.
The
So-
problem is,
Understood, but what
yeah.
I'm saying is trying to retrofit a small building by
Right.
building, a 6,000 square foot on top of,
Well, it's around, yeah, it's gonna
It's
be
around
around.
it.
Yeah, it's.
So it'll change the roof line in 2 spots, but the roof of the building is already mold denigrated and. it
There you
needs to
are,
be
Bill
replaced
Rothar.
anyway,
Oh, here's
so,
Bill.
you know.
It's just something to think
That's
about,
just
because you might be able to
blindside
pull the
Bill
building
right
up
away.
closer to the street if you just demolished it and put a new prefab and then do all the parking in the back, and so, I mean, there's
Right here,
other
Bill.
things that need to be
All right.
discussed before we spend $1.5 million on a 6,000 square foot addition, in my opinion.
So, the ambulance, I don't think anybody's gonna argue that the ambulance doesn't need their building to be expanded.
This is the page you like.
Al's very optimistic that it's only gonna be $1.5 million, and I thought, wow, that's pretty good, because if they're bringing in $300,000 in revenue with the $500,000 we have in the account, by the time you do the design and everything, we'd almost pay for the whole thing cash. It's not gonna be 1.5, because by the time you do the, as Jody said, the site improvements, the parking, the lights that you don't have in that lot that you cleared, you have to factor all that in. Plus, designing, you have to have somebody obviously design this.
We estimated
Another
design,
20%.
have engineered the designs and everything at 50,000, which was included in that.
So what we, I
So
think,
it's more like 250, and we estimated it at 260 to add the additional amount. to
Design
that.
in it.
Yeah.
so I think what we have to do is crunch some numbers with the ambulance. Can we get the budget done first?
Budget will be there this week.
No, our budget. Yeah,
Yes, your
budget.
budget.
This is a
Yes.
fall,
Yeah.
this
No.
is a fall project, not end of summer project, because we've got to finish up,
Yeah, yeah.
Bill and I and
Absolutely.
you and the
Mhm.
budget. So, when we figure out roughly what the ambulance can sustain, just purely, this is gonna get funded by medical billing, we're not gonna pierce the tax cap in any fashion. This is exactly why we put medical billing in, so we could do this. So you obviously, Bill, are gonna be looking at our billing rates, our projections. A $2 million bond, just throw $500,000 in there. See what we can afford, see what we can fund, crunch the numbers, and then from there, I think you're gonna have to come back to the town board, and we'll make a decision to go to RFP. Our guys might be able to design this in-house, I don't know. It doesn't look like a terribly complicated project, but I think at the same time, you should be talking to the engineers as to whether, they probably wouldn't want to design this in-house, but the engineers as to releasing what it would cost, or to release an RFP, and then come back to the board with the engineers, with Bill, the debt service. I mean, to some extent, it makes sense. Well, we would never sell this bond with the water bond, because the water bond is we're doing that now. I'd love to be able to fund this ourselves, but I don't think we could, about $500,000, I think, in fund
We don't have
balance.
enough fund balance, you have to delay it a little bit too long, I think, in order to build that up. Doesn't mean we can't fund.
Take a shorter note, can't you, or no?
Yeah, but you also, you may wanna bond this with the water district bonding too, if we know we're starting it. Because typically, we were doing capital projects all the time, we would bond once a year. So if it's gonna be completed before.
Not
you know,
under the
within a
Walter
year, we probably
administration.
want- yeah, There's cost to bond, so we may wanna do it, you know.
Pay as
with-
you go, baby.
But, so there's a cost to bond itself, so if we know we're gonna complete this within a year from when we bond the water district, even though we already spent all the water district money, we can bond this and then we
It
can.
would make sense too for the re-rating, plus we could show the rating agencies that this is completely a self-funded. We have to, when we speak to them, the idea of enterprise fund is really key to that. And this, to me, is an enterprise fund, much like this that we're gonna discuss. So, I think that's very helpful. If we, maybe it would be something we would do sooner than later if the board chose, because going out to bid on two enterprise funds that are completely self-sustaining, not general fund dependent, and showing that, listen, we're gonna put $500,000, I don't know how much cash, I'm saying $500,000 cash into a $1.5 million project. You got a lot of work to do. So let's crunch some numbers, let's talk to the engineers, let's get our guys to say, yes, we agree with the 1.5 is realistic, or it's gonna be, no, you're crazy because you didn't consider the streetlights, curbs, all the other stuff. Does that seem reasonable to the board?
Yep.
And,
I know you need it, it's just how we get there.
No, I know.
Yeah.
It's, and I'm asking for your guidance on how to get there, so if
Yeah.
that's the best way to go,
No,
that's
you
the way
did a
we'll
great-
go. It's
yeah,
just-
no, you-
Good job, good
That's
work.
good.
But before you leave, I just got one more thing, other than this here. They're located in Town Hall now, their office. It just is like Obamacare. Once you put something someplace, it's hard to move it, and it's gonna be very costly for us to move it from here to the railroad station. Plus, they wanna do this project here, so.
You don't want the railroad station if
I
you do this?
I would,
Well, we would have space here for
Right.
billing office.
There's space in there for it.
yes, see, so staying here,
Keep them here, save the
might,
money
it
on
would
the
save
railroad
the town a
station.
lot of money.
I mean, we
Oh,
met
this
with
is
the engineering, and, their cost estimate was around 100,000.
Does anybody want the railroad station in the public? Lord have mercy.
I thought it would be a nice restaurant.
Nobody
Yeah.
wants it.
Dunkin'
They
Donuts.
offered it, they RFP'd it.
Well, you can't have a restaurant, they don't want liquor.
No, all right, so, yeah, but like Jody said, at Dunkin' Donuts, everybody going
tried.
on the train or a bus is
Yeah,
picking up a
right,
cup
yeah.
of coffee.
We
I
tried.
mean, that's a,
We tried.
wow.
But I mean, it cost effectively,
Coach could
it would,
open a coffee
Tony
shop.
Coates is
Maybe
there.
Tony
and-
Coates,
and
that's
we
right.
got plenty of
Hudson
room here.
too.
Right.
You're not, they didn't kick anybody out of this building, so I mean,
I mean, ideally, we still need this space just to function, and if, then you have two
No, we're kicking you out of this space if you get this space.
I
right.
thought I was moving up
And
front.
this
the
guy
windows.
here is gonna be moved over.
Well, hopefully we're all.
I know,
moving
ask
out of
Laura
it.
Jen, she'll tell you where you're going.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
Yeah,
it's
then
just
you're getting
expensive
an
to
office in here. All right, let's sit, I think your first thing is to sit with the engineers to see if any of these numbers are engineering realistic, and then sit with Bill to come up.
well, I know the financials are on spot, so they'll withstand your audit. I mean, I can, so, but,
He laid down the gauntlet right there, didn't he?
so,
Money's
well,
on Bill.
But as far as the, I'll talk to the engineering department, see what they wanna do, if they wanna do a walkthrough and get the measurements based on what we have. These are, very immature drawings, but, nonetheless, they show the square footage and what we want as far as partitions and stuff. And the guy who came out and gave us the estimate, they marked the grounds, found where the gas lines were and everything, because obviously we have to go out wider on the driveway, so they went through all of that and what that's gonna cost to have all that stuff removed, because you can't leave the gas under the building and things like that.
Does this guy know he's gotta RFP this? You can't just,
Well, he's not gonna, we're not.
Right, no, but he's gotta
a
respond.
builder.
He's
He
gotta
came-
respond.
Right, yes, absolutely.
all right, sit with the engineers, come up with preliminary plans that they put together, probably to do an RFP to design it. Let's see if they can get some preliminary cost estimates of what they think it's gonna be. Sit with Bill.
Bless
God
you.
bless you.
Excuse
I'd be
me,
stunned
thank
if it
you.
came in at $1.5 million. Stunned, but if it does, and we can fund it, part of it, and bond the rest with the water district, I agree with you, if you're gonna do it, you might, because a $1.5 million bond doesn't make any sense.
go out on a bond for that by itself, it's gonna cost more in fees as opposed to just lumping it with another bond.
I'm definitely getting soft. What was that? The only thing we ever bonded was Phil's money and the upgrade to the water district in 11.
I agree with you. You know what, I was running through the town, as I do so often, and I saw the fire department. And then, now that the bus garage is moving, and they're gonna clean that property up, it's gonna make that high school and that school campus really a
They should
showcase.
tear that building down.
They will, and.
They are.
They're putting
But,
fields there.
so that's gonna be all fixed up, and then get Harrison repaved and make it really look nice. And the ambulance corps is about the only last, to really showcase the town. It really needs to be done, there's no doubt.
Keep Riverhead shining. Oh, sorry.
We're busier than you could believe.
Yeah.
We just got contacted by the high school to cover their football games this year because no vendors will come out here.
What do you mean, no vendors?
They
want too
reached
much
out to
money.
their existing
Private
vendor and they
ambulance.
said, we're not interested. And the other vendor went chapter 13.
Oh.
So the problem is you have no
Aren't you
one
glad
out
you have
here.
a fifth ambulance now?
You're glad, you're the
right.
supervisor. We're able to meet your constituents' needs.
So,
Oh.
listen, I'm the one that said
Put
the
that in
last
there,
one
please.
shouldn't have got mothballed, and it's still sitting over there.
Well, maybe we could talk about a remount on that. I'm looking to do 19 in January
You
because that's
should
the
go
last
over and
diesel.
talk to Mike Curtis and see whether that thing has got any salvageable life in it.
Yeah. I think the last time I spoke to him, I think the plan is to turn that into a command post for the police department.
Well,
Most
if he
people,
turns it
most
in there,
people
it's
buy
got
old
life in it
ambulances
then.
and turn them into plumbing trucks.
Um,
Because they have lots of cabinets
we
and you can
probably
put long
fit
lengths
in
of pipe in them and
fittings,
stuff.
We have one command
Yeah.
vehicle
Well,
for the
there was
police
some with the
No,
police,
it's not gonna
some
be turned
kinda-
into a command
Huh?
post. If it's worth remounting, then you should take a look at it, but
Yeah.
it's been sitting in
Yeah,
there.
it's really old. It would need a lot of work.
You know, we probably should just put it up for auction, because it's just, nobody needs it.
What's that?
They have an
The old
ambulance,
ambulance.
been
Oh,
sitting
It's
in there
sitting in
8
the,
years.
It's sitting.
Makes a good giant stadium.
You could make it the
paddy wagon.
mobile command post for Riverhead Local.
Maybe we could spray paint a message on the side of it.
Richie Oliver bought the
Have
old
fun.
ambulance and painted it with green and jets on it, and was driving back and
That was
forth.
cool.
Yeah,
That
it
was
was
cool.
All right,
Well,
well,
thank you for your time, everyone.
Thanks, Al.
do look at that ambulance, see if there's any point, if not, then
Okay.
I think we need to auction it, because nobody wants it. We were gonna give it to somebody, but it's not even worth it.
No.
All right, thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Al.
What is, Larry, you wanna talk about shared services? Of course, I didn't read that yet. What day is this vote?
The 12th.
Where is it?
I'm not quite exactly sure, they haven't really mentioned, I'll find that out for you.
Don't worry, don't worry.
So, there have been a few changes to this. So the whole shared services program is designed to try to help save money for the towns in their purchasing and their use of services.
Yeah, Brian,
So, it's different than a cooperative, where a cooperative, you can just kind of go on and purchase off of a contract that's already there. This is more designed where you bring in, there's gonna be a main portal, computer portal that you're gonna be able to go to. It'll be one bid for a certain item, and then every municipality that is involved will be able to then put their specs into that one bid, so the bid becomes a very, very large bid. And so then the vendors will look at this and see that they have, 500 widgets opposed to, 50 widgets. And so the difference between being able to piggyback is the same thing, is piggybacking, the New York State or Suffolk County has a contract, but the vendor never knows how many people are actually going to, or how many widgets are going to be bought. With this here, it pretty much defines what each town and municipality, with each entity uses during the year and what they're looking for. So it gives the vendor a little bit more to go on when they do their estimate. So that's one section of this. The other section is services, where we may be able to offer a service to another town where another town may not have that service, vice versa, you know. And so I know a lot of the highway departments, they kind of talk with each other and help each other out from time to time. So this would be in that realm. We would never give out our equipment without our personnel. I think that's the same sentiment that goes across the board with every other municipality, that their employees would come with their equipment. But it would be where we wouldn't have to actually, if our bucket truck was down, instead of having to hire a private contractor, we may be able to say to Brookhaven, you have an extra bucket truck? Oh, yeah, we do. And their employee will come over here with the bucket truck and work with our, you know, electricians or whoever's going to use the bucket truck at hopefully a reduced cost than it would be if you go out.
I don't see that in here.
Okay, yeah, there's a whole pamphlet that goes
Oh,
with this,
okay.
there's more. So this was one colossal waste of time by the governor of the state of New York. There's not, and here's why, and I don't know that the supervisors are voting for it or not voting for it, but in order to get, qualify for the, grant, you have to show that you're gonna reduce your tax levy. Just because I save $50,000 on PO4 or whatever it is we always bid on for the water or the sewer district, that $50,000 is not necessarily going to equate to a reduction in the tax levy for two reasons. One, there's going to be something else that the water district inevitably is going to need, or the sewer district or the general fund is going to need. A 50% savings is like a tenth of a savings in maybe 0.2% in the tax levy. But the problem is you'd save that $50,000, you'd get a $50,000 grant if you, one time. The following year, you don't get that grant. So if you didn't increase the tax cap, if you didn't increase the levy, the full amount that you could increase it, you are always behind. So if you can't use the $50,000 grant to show that you are saving money, because if you won't get that next year and you can't increase the then you lose that 2% that you're gonna do.
You're gonna save money, it's a one-time
One
shot.
time, but then after that, you lose
And then
money
you gotta
every
put money into
single,
it.
every
That's
single
right.
year.
It's like hiring 3 police officers, they'll pay you for 2 years on a grant, but after the second year.
You own 'em.
Then you own them and you have to, so it's the same thing.
So the thing that drives me nuts and why the governor, he missed the boat in a way that I can't even understand. It's not a bad idea. I like the idea of being able to buy the chemicals across the county, but we could have done that. We didn't need the governor to do that, and we do that. We have cooperative purchasing. So here's the thing we found out. We're sitting there with Bill Rothar, and what everybody should understand about medical insurance is, and I think everybody understands, cost is going through the roof. So the night shift program now, $28,000 a year for a family plan, with the modest money that, the modest dental and vision that the town has, it's $29,700. So it's almost $30,000 for a family plan
That's
right now.
ridiculous.
So here's where the governor,
9% increase in 1 year.
here's where the governor completely missed the boat. Suffolk County, Bill said to us, and we have to confirm this, is self-insured.
Right, they are.
They are.
$18,000 a year is what they're paying for self-insurance. And so Larry has brought this up to them, and the county says, well, the way the self-insurance law works is you can only have 3 entities in, and they have, what's the police department, the county, and the.
Yeah, actually, it's 2. 3 or more is bad, so they have 2. They have Suffolk, the college and them.
So instead of talking to the governor, who's probably protecting NISHIP, and saying, we want to join Suffolk County as a cooperative health insurance plan, they gave us this piece of crap. So now I've spoken to 2 of the 4 East End supervisors, and we've all agreed that we're gonna go on Tuesday, the 12th, and say, we want added to this that the Suffolk County will support, changing the state legislation to allow all the towns in Suffolk County to join Suffolk County in a, self-insurance, medical insurance plan that would be similar or the same pretty much as NISHIP. The governor will probably reject it, mainly because he's trying to protect NISHIP. That would save, that one thing the governor could have saved Riverhead probably. Bill, did we ever figure out how many family plans we have in town? It's gotta be about 200, I'm guessing.
No, I did, I apologize.
Use the number of 200 family plans. Now, there's different level, you know, certain employees pay and certain employees don't pay, depending on how long they're here. But you could have had a
You realize
lasting,
the $2 to $3 million.
you could have had you could have had a 1.5 to
Yep.
$2 million right off the bat, never see that cost again,
Yep.
except as health insurance increases, which we have to factor in 9%. So this is a piece of garbage. I'm glad you went.
I agree.
You spent a lot of time. The governor wasted your time, they wasted every time, the 1 or 2 meetings I went to, what, about 25, 30 people show up to these meetings?
Yeah. maybe.
Total waste of all this resources, because the one thing that could have saved money is the insurance, and they didn't tackle it. And I challenged the governor to tackle NISHIP, and the way to tackle NISHIP is to allow for the county to do the self-insurance, so we can join on the self-insurance. Scott Russell and Southold have self-insurance at $22,000, it cost them $22,000 a year, they got out of it at the time, Riverhead was probably paying about $24,000. They got out of it because they're too small of a pool, and the uncertainty with a couple of catastrophic cancer or something devastating would, in a small pool, would have just wiped them out. So they got out of being self-insured. But if you're lumped in with the county, Brookhaven, the entire East End, now you're talking about something.
It's crazy.
So I'm sorry the governor wasted your time. I'm sorry the legislature wasted your time. I'm sorry my time is gonna be wasted next week. But I'm gonna, I have to speak to Jim Doherty and Jay Schneiderman. I have a call in with Jay Schneiderman about this to see whether we can add a provision to the plan that the county and the municipalities will use their best efforts to jump onto this county plan. I know I'm on the stump, but you're talking about even a million,
Ridiculous.
even a $1
You're
million
talking about
savings, I could have.
$2,700 a month in insurance. If,
Crazy, it's crazy.
$1
family
million,
policy.
I could have reduced the tax rate 3%
yeah,
on $1 million savings.
And NISHIP still, administers the program for the county.
Do they? Oh, I didn't even know that.
They administer it.
I don't know.
What's
Yeah.
the single plan?
What is the single plan,
10?
it's gotta be.
Bill, what was the single payer plan? It was like 12?
12 or something?
Yeah.
Now, so I had Anne Marie, I was down speaking with Anne Marie, and we started trying to research the legislation that precludes us from being able to join in with, and we're having a hard time actually finding some of that legislation.
Might be fake.
It could be, so we're gonna continue digging. I have some, you know, some literature that we're trying to pop up, so it may be that that's what was said to people.
I
yeah.
would not be surprised if there is something in there to protect NISHIP. They have a vested interest in trying to protect NISHIP. And if we can jump on the county, you're talking about a huge savings.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
can't even, whatever. I think the public will understand my disgust for this whole process.
Sure. Well, I mean, it also even says that, you know, the county exec shall designate a representative who shall be responsible for administering and managing Suffolk share, so, and then it says that you're not gonna,
$150,000 a year deputy
and then it says
county
that, you know,
executive.
no Suffolk share member shall ever be liable to pay or be responsible for payment of any sum of money to Suffolk share. But then it says that they could call periodic meetings and they can have, you know, centralized cooperative purchases and,
And
you
you
know,
can just, you
when,
can opt out.
when
with
I look
just
at
a letter.
our employees that we have and our purchasing agents to
Keep an eye.
ask them to go somewhere for a meeting, or if it's in the evening, or whatever, I mean, there's like,
It probably wouldn't be them, it would
problems.
probably be me that ends up
I understand the
going on that,
concept, but maybe,
yeah.
maybe it's born out of what you think is born out, but I mean, I understand that municipalities and school districts and government should all combine. I mean, just the buying power. And
Well-
so you would save money,
school
it might not
districts,
be a
there you
lot.
go.
Well,
Listen,
there-
if the
yeah,
governor
school districts-
wanted to
school
take on the
districts are
teachers.
involved with this.
But then
I'm
you
sure
would
they
need
are.
a central
No, they weren't
Well,
involved.
Liberty
with
Center.
it. They weren't involved with it.
They
unless
are now,
Unless they opted in.
unless they opt in, yeah.
So how,
So-
we don't know how many.
Anything funded by
there are a
taxpayers'
few,
dollars
um,
should be, get
there-
the best bang for the buck.
There were a few that had shown up to the meeting that expressed a lot of interest in it. One of the costs that they're going to do is the whole portal and working of the portal and pretty much the whole working of it is going to be, in order for a vendor to come in and actually use this, so it's really, instead of looking at 20 different bids, from 20
Yeah,
different
right.
companies, they come in and will look at one bid for 20 different.
And who's
you
gonna
know,
write that and who's setting up this web portal?
Exactly.
That is
another
going to be a
job.
separate company, and the way that that company will get paid is through the vendors. When they come in, there'll be a fee to the vendors, which is a model that they're following.
Getting all this,
with a-
Denise?
Yeah, with a couple of states throughout the United States use a very similar model.
So, you know, the governor could have really, if he wanted to take on cost savings, he could have taken on consolidation of school districts. I don't know, novel idea to me.
It's
Suffolk
building
County Central School
bureaucracy,
District.
it's building bureaucracy and creating jobs, and
This-
the
this is-
savings are insignificant.
This is another political job. It says here that the Suffolk County Executive shall be responsible for assisting the chairperson in administering and managing Suffolk programs, including but not limited to. So
Absolutely.
he can appoint somebody.
He did.
He can appoint
He did.
somebody.
Sean Kamen.
Yeah, so it's just another,
Well, but that's also, some of that language comes from what was given from New York State. So New York State has a certain guideline, and so the county executive is then put in charge, each county exec
We get it.
is put in charge of this
Have you seen
program.
him there?
You guys are looking at the politics, I'm
County
looking at the
No, I have
sensibleness
not.
of it, you know, so.
Yeah, but I mean, like
I'm
Sean
looking at
said,
the
I mean, what
practice.
are the savings that we're gonna realize? I mean, we already are buying off of the state
Right.
contract, we're buying off of the county contract, we're buying off
Well,
of,
but like I
yeah,
said,
so-
it's different than buying off of a contract. So when you buy off of a
You got
contract,
2
they
million
don't know
people
how
buying
many
the same
people
object that get it cheap.
yeah, they don't know how many people are going to buy that widget.
no, I get it.
When you do it collectively, now they know exactly how many, so
Right.
I think there will be a
There'll be
savings.
There'll be a savings. The Suffolk
Yeah.
County Water Authority, who I think is trying to be did the Water Authority come to any of these meetings?
They have not, no.
Yeah, well, see, there's a big lost opportunity. Suffolk County Water Authority can buy
Oh, no,
their
yes, they did once.
chemicals much cheaper because they're a larger, water, company than we are.
Yeah.
We can't jump on Suffolk County Water bids. From the last time I spoke to Anne Marie, the authority has different procurement policies that we're precluded from using. So if the Water Authority was here, that would save money for us. Certain things, the county of Suffolk has more sludge from the sewage plants, that'll save us money if we bid with the county, so we will save some money. But 70% of our costs are employees. 15% is contractual and 15% is debt service. That's an oversimplification, but I'm pretty close, right, Bill?
Yes.
So this is dealing with 15% of the total cost of operating any municipality,
right.
not touching the 70% that really matters. I don't know. Larry, thank you for going.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna go to the meeting.
Anyway,
I'll see if we can jump on them to do the county medical insurance,
Have to go home
because
run.
I'm sure it's
Thank you.
just as good as what we have. I'm sure it's the same plan we have, probably better. All right, Bill? See what happens? You gotta sit in the audience. Well, Bill's gonna be quick. This is, we're balanced.
CPF water.
CPF water, okay,
CPF water.
you doing okay?
Yeah, this is your standard audit every year. Back about 7, 8 years ago, the state did an audit and then requires us to audit the CPF fund independently. So there are no projects. At this point, we're not buying any land, so all they're reporting is the cash. The cash coming in is the CPF tax that's being charged and sent to us from the county, and we're paying down the debt as we go.
And I think that, we've talked about this before, but
Sustainable.
right now, as we've had 3 years of just about $3.5 million a year, I think we had this conversation. At $3.5 million a year, taking into consideration our debt service, we have enough reserves to get us through where it drops down. The reserve fund in 1 year, 2022 or something like that, drops down to about 50,000, and then after that, it goes up astronomically. So if we keep it at 3.5, we don't have to refinance the CPF debt, we're out of the woods. We have the special legislation
It's
that we
always
could.
an option if we have.
Yeah,
it.
we have the
to have it.
legislation that we
I'm glad
passed.
that we're not.
But I think we can do it. I think we're gonna be okay.
The debt service tails off in 2023. It goes down to 3.4 million. So in essence, we have 6 years to use the fund balance, which is almost $11 million. It's $10,800,000 at the end of 16. And if we can get 6 years out of that, then in 2023, our debt service drops down significantly, so.
Yeah, but
that's the-
that should build up though.
Oh, it's gonna go up.
From that
6
point,
years.
from that point forward, it should build up because the debt service continues to go down after that.
Right.
But that's the point where we hit the 3.4, 3.5 that we're
Yep.
bringing in now. So,
Okay?
And the debt service now is around 6 million?
Right, no, 5.4 million for the next 3 years. Then it drops down in 20 to 5.2, and then to 4.9, to 4.8, and then it's 2023 where it
Yeah,
drops
the
significantly.
CPF revenue is going up a little bit each year
Yes.
too. So we're
Right.
taking in more than we were.
Potentially.
And
Well,
we
have
had at
3
some
years
point, I don't
at
know if we'll
3
ever hit 6 million,
I don't
but
think
we
we'll
had
ever take
6
enough.
million a couple of years in
Yeah.
a row when business was good, I'll say.
Right.
I don't know that we'll ever reach that max, but, you know, we had gone up to that amount before it started spiraling down again, so.
Okay.
Okay.
I am just tickled pink that that fund is bounced. All right, so while you're here, why don't you talk about the one last thing that we have to do a resolution for? I think you probably did the resolution. Talk about the $900,000 we owe for the 900 or
Yeah,
million?
not $895,000. So there was a project at EPCAL several years back, 11 years back now, and we did a bond authorization. We spent about $1 million of that bond authorization. We had to actually did 2 separate bond authorizations because the plan was to spend about $6 million there, building field with turf and nightlights and stuff like that. We spent $1 million fixing up the fields and then stopped because we didn't have any cash to continue or we weren't gonna bond that money. So there's about $900,000 that's left to be paid off, and the bonds have expired. After 10 years, by statute of law, you can't borrow the bonds anymore. So if we go out for a permissive referendum and we do a bond authorization today, 10 years later, if this board does nothing, we do not have the authority to bond those anymore. And we don't have the authority to go back and do another bond authorization for something that's already been spent.
Mm.
So therefore, we have to fund that remaining $900,000. We already moved $100,000 from park and rec fees into the capital projects in 2014. We need to move money again, and we need to get on a schedule of moving money on a regular basis back into that fund to pay it off.
So since the general fund did have a positive surplus last year, we have to move 54.
We're gonna move $50,000 in 16, and then we're gonna need to move 50,000 or more. The problem is we don't know it's really money that should be coming from the park and rec fees, but we're not in control on how much park and rec fees we make in any given year. So we're gonna need to move money into the park and rec fees, from the park and rec fees account going forward.
Or the general fund reserve.
Or if not, the general fund would do that. But we just need to
Just to
consistently
make the
have.
payments.
We need to make some sort of payment against that
Yeah.
$900,000.
We put ourselves on a diet of paying $100,000 a year, but then when the animal shelter thing happened, we owed the park and rec some money.
Right.
Because they renovated the 5% of using park and rec fees, so George Gabrielson convinced me not to take another $200,000 out of there or something, so, but it's time to start
Right,
paying
so
the
one,
debt
one
back.
of the two or both of the funds, whichever the board agrees upon, would be transferring money on a yearly basis into that capital project so that eventually that $800,000, $900,000 for that fund, for that project has been funded.
So you're gonna do a resolution for the, whatever you need, the 50+ thousand?
I'll do it for 50,000 in 16, and I'll put wording in there that it's to be funded yearly, and the board will determine where it's coming from. If we have funds in the rec fund, we're gonna take it from there, and if not, the general fund will have to take it.
I think we did that
We knew about
resolution
that,
already.
Although I
You
wasn't,
should
none
look,
of
I
us
think
were
we did
sitting
that
on the board then,
resolution.
but we knew.
I'll check.
I think we did that resolution a long time ago. I'm
Okay.
reasonably certain.
I don't remember.
No,
This was.
How did we move $100,000 into it
John
then?
might have been, yeah, but none of us.
we may have done it for that one, but we didn't commit to do that in a resolution going forward, because we were debating how much was gonna be
Oh,
paid
that
by
was
the
the
town.
George probably conversation. I mean, we always thought we would be able to pay it off, and we were trying to limit the amount we bonded in 2011, and this was, again, really old debt.
Right, this goes back to 2005, 2006, and things were a whole different picture then than it was 2010. I'll tell you that.
Piper's calling. All right,
Okay.
anything else, Phil? Dawn? Tag.
So how's my, computer
It's a
doing?
tag you're in.
You know what happened to it?
It's in Texas.
The replacement got
I don't
stuck
mind
in
the shut
Texas, so it'll be in on Friday, it'll be in tomorrow.
It's underwater
It's
in
under-
Texas.
Underwater.
Oh, my God.
I just had to send a check to a bank in Texas, and to pay off a mortgage, and I'm like, that ain't going anywhere.
Tag,
Tag,
together
so,
all generations.
You
yes,
gotta change that name.
well, we would have to be part of New York State Council on the Arts to do that.
What? To change tag?
Tag, yes, that's the name of the program,
Oh,
technical.
that's what we name our Columbus Avenue building is the tag building, which is terrible, Together All Generations.
Oh, this is
Sorry.
Technical Assistance Grant, that's the
Okay.
acronym, that's what it stands for.
Oh.
So it's a very small grant,
Stupid me.
$3,500.
We want it.
We want it to use for the Benjamin Barn on the East End Arts Council property. It's thought that it could be converted to a ceramic studio, but prior to getting the grant to do the conversion, we need to do a study on the actual building to determine whether it's feasible with the structure and also historic features. So there's particular people that do this work, that are authorized to do this work. Pat Snyder has secured a gentleman to do it, and the cost is $3,500, but actually, the grant request is $3,000, the cost is $3,500. The $500 we will be able to come up with somehow, and it's gotta be submitted by September 11th, so we're working on that little grant. We need to get your authorization, and that's the entire story.
Well,
Seems reasonable, I guess. That building's the one that Eddie painted the mural on.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
falling apart.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I like it now. You guys just don't go upstate enough. That mural has a very upstate
Yeah, I like looking
feel.
at
The only
buildings
thing
that are,
missing is a car
maintenance done on
on
it.
cinder blocks, and then I would
It's,
feel at
it's,
home.
it's, just it's a building condition survey,
That's
that's what
just
it's
going from
called.
my
It's
mind.
pretty straightforward, and
It's just
You're-
survey to see if it's, it's fine.
that's it.
Okay.
All right? Great.
Oh, wow.
That's exciting, right?
It
So
sounds
the
very
other
fun.
500 would get funded from,
Well, we could do some
Donations.
DG.
$100 each council person.
you know,
Gardner's Foundation might even kick that in.
We
Yeah,
can find
that-
$500, that's all.
That application is due
That's right.
Friday, so, we're working on trying to like get what we have under control.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
You know.
Yep.
All right?
Okay.
All right, great, thank you.
Dawn, thank you.
Thanks, Dawn.
There you go. Take one, pass it down, didn't make it into the packet. Like me.
This another one?
Yes, didn't make it into the packet, so Diane asked her to do the survey.
So that's what we're deciding, maybe, I'll find out.
Yeah, that's,
So one's an iSlip.
no, it's not, they must have changed it, because I have it in, on the 12th, that I'm
Yeah.
supposed to go to Islip. So if anybody wants to go to the public hearing on the shared services, according to this, it's Tuesday, September 12th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., Riverhead County Center Legislative Auditorium, 300 Center Drive, Riverhead, New York. They keep changing this, because I don't think this is not what's in our calendar. On the 12th, on our calendar, I'm supposed to be in September 12th. Come on. It says I'm supposed to be at Suffolk County Shared Services Panel, 12 to 2, West Sayville Country Club, Montauk Highway, West Sayville. So this was moved from 12 to 2, with the vote scheduled to occur at 1 p.m. on Tuesday the 12th. So I don't understand how they could have that and they have this, and I know that this was real because I got the email from it and put it in, so somebody's gotta figure out when the vote is.
I'll make a phone call now then.
Yeah, because why would you have a public hearing on a date that, yeah, and I know this, they sent this out because I actually saw it, why is this not working? Okay,
Well, we agree with you in your position on it, so you'll be there representing the town of Riverhead, I guess, yes?
yes, I have to, either Jill or I. I don't know, like I said,
Get ready, Jill.
no, I think she's already predestined me for this. Resolution 1, defreezed force main encasement capital project.
Closure.
Right, closure. Back to Atlantis Holding. You good?
Yep.
Right.
2, Princess Laundry Sewer Improvement Capital Project closure, back to Laundry Palace,
Okay.
$413.
That is some business.
Riverhead 3, Riverhead Bay Motor Sewer Extension Capital Project closure, $2,500. Good?
Yep.
4, Squeezy's Avenue Capital Project closure. Spent balance of 27,000 can be returned to the highway fund. Is that when that's when they put that culvert in? That's when, remember they put the culvert, it was collapsing, the
Yes.
water was going in this?
Yep.
5, sewer belt filter replacement, capital project.
127, really?
6, buildings and grounds equipment budget adjustment. So in the budget for next year, purchase a
they're
Dodge
buying a
Ram.
truck.
Wait a minute, come on.
A man's truck.
Oh, my God.
I'm voting against
With no
this.
tranny.
A Dodge Ram is what they're buying?
I wouldn't
Come
buy-
on,
I
let's
wouldn't
get a
buy a
real
Dodge.
Ford in here.
I wouldn't take it for free,
It's probably the cheapest thing they can find, which is why they're buying it.
probably 30,000.
So the engineering department, I bet they'll be sorry, the B&G, since the budget, things are doing much better with the general fund. I put in a new truck for next year because if you look at some of their trucks that they plow with, they are shot. And when you listen to Guy Cawley, he says, yeah, it's got 100,000 miles on it, 50,000 is in reverse. This one truck that they're replacing this year, they have to crank the torsion bars up just to get the plow underneath it. Eventually, they're just gonna break, so this was sorely needed.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing your police department budget as to what you're budgeting for, cars as far as the police department, and the detectives
275,000.
and the cope
270.
cars and,
Police department is fully funded. We added an officer, so we're 86 officers strong. We put in, they wanted $85,000 for tasers, I think. We put in an additional 50 or 54 for tasers on top of
Whatever
it.
happened to the sheriff's
yeah,
department with
the
that money?
sheriff DeMarco was working on it, but then he like disappeared.
Yes, so we're just gonna fund it. So is Spoda's office, so there, the only thing they didn't get was 85 for the tasers. They got 54 or 55 for tasers, and they wanted 2 more directional signs, but the directional signs, they were 39,000, like, well, we can deal with our speed directional signs that we have for now, so maybe next year. And we also put $275,000 towards the upgrade to the, I don't wanna say the Super 8, the 800 system, because the county's upgrading their 800 system, and they're not giving money to the East End towns for the 800 system upgrades, even though they're using money out of the O1 fund, so we
Yeah.
put a 200,000 so we can
always
continue to
been a
keep
problem.
pace with their upgrade. So they're
There
fully
is money
funded.
in there for the police cars for next year.
275,000.
Anyway.
What did we,
You're up to 7, Suffolk County Council Boy Scouts.
what are we doing with them? Tim, what are we doing with them? We owe them money back?
No, it looks like they're doing inspection, Sean.
2-inch water service.
Oh, okay.
they're planning back there,
I don't know. But that's fine. Maybe they're just,
They're paying for it, whatever it is.
Could be. Doesn't, I'm okay with giving them more water, another water extension. Your board okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
Find out, we can ask Brad, because they have to come to site plan. Well, unless they're just doing, could, a water hookup. I don't think so, but
Put
I
a
don't
hand
know.
pump on them.
Yeah, they're Boy Scouts, they can
I've
do it.
stayed at that Boy Scout camp
I did when I was a kid.
during a hurricane
Hey,
last year.
oh my
I got
goodness.
a badge for it and everything.
A hurricane. 8, acceptance of 2016 audited community preservation, financial audit, that's what we just discussed. 9, authorizes attendance of assessor to Lake Placid, 1st through the 4th of October. We good with that?
Yeah. Laverne
It
will
refers
understand.
to
State
the.
usually pays us
yeah,
back
travel
anyway.
Policy, good.
10, authorizes Community Development Department to apply for technical assistance grant for Benjamin Barn, we just discussed that. 11, ratifies execution of a license agreement with the Department of Navy EPCAL Recreation Bike Trail.
This is a major accomplishment because I have been going back and forth with the Navy for the last couple of years, and we finally got the license agreement authorizing the rec trail to go over the Navy property.
Oh, good. Does
Make it
Bob
contiguous.
has the
Yes.
agreement?
Okay.
Bob has it.
Signatures now, so you can have them sign it soon?
Yeah, we have the 3 signatures,
like
so we're
one.
just going to,
I like one.
okay, ratify it at the next
We
town board
should
meeting.
put the agreement in the
Yes.
resolution.
Yes,
Please.
Have it?
I don't have it, Bob has it.
Bob has it, okay.
I haven't seen it.
so thank you very much, Navy, for working very closely with us and getting that done. It's a great thing.
And it goes away.
You wanna sign that resolution?
Oh,
so
I thought we
I can
just did.
sign that?
We did. Is this the one we did? No, is it a new one?
Yeah, let's just sign it.
How do you do it?
12, approves attendance of 1 police department employee to the New York State 2017 homicide squad. Very good.
Yeah.
Homicide, killed it.
Let's hope we don't have any. 13, amends resolution 626.
So we staying on to the end of the year?
Yeah,
No, he's just changing his date by a week.
Good. All right, good.
Oh, it's
He's
December
leaving a
8th
week
now.
earlier.
Okay.
Okay.
Sad, sad.
14, authorizes the attendance of 1 police department employee to the 2017 IACP conference. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I don't know what the
I don't even know what that is.
IACP is.
Now, was this something new? I don't remember something.
These resolutions, Bill, who does the travel policy in your office? Whoever's doing the travel policy, like it says authorizes the reimbursements of expenses not to occur.
That's supposed to say travel receipt, don't put the right line.
Yeah, because it has to be in accordance with our travel policy. So,
We actually have forms for it, okay.
Alright.
We have forms for that, where one is a estimate or a budget, and then a similar form when you come back and you have your actuals.
okay.
Yeah, but this, I think what Sean's saying is that this resolution is saying that they're gonna reimburse up to $1,500, and it doesn't refer to the travel policy at all.
Okay, it should refer to a travel policy, there should be a budget.
The other one they have is correct, this one.
Okay.
Accepts highway superintendent's personnel report and a request for the town board resolution to effectuate personnel change.
Personnel
This is for Keith
request, what is this?
He wants to move them up to maintenance mechanic.
Oh, we
3.
talked about this.
Yep. We good?
Okay.
Yes. I think there was something to do with secretarial staff.
16, authorizes town clerk to publish help wanted advertisement for part-time maintenance mechanics.
That, I don't know.
What is this about?
Just assumed it was talking about.
Larry? Authorizes town clerk to publish help wanted advertisement for part-time maintenance
Is that
mechanics.
for the?
Is that for the water?
Home shore equipment?
Is it the home chore program with the seniors?
They're not maintenance mechanics.
Wasn't he a
No, they
maintenance
might be,
mechanic?
Freddie might have been. I don't know, figure it out, pull that resolution, because we don't know what it is. Pull the resolution, Jill, till somebody tells you what it is. Yeah, that might be for the helper for Freddie's.
That's what I'm thinking.
But I don't know, you gotta know what it is. You gotta know what it is.
I don't know, we don't have many part-time maintenance mechanics.
No, that's the only one I can think of.
Me too.
17, reclassifies the position of account clerk typist.
This is for Joan, yeah, we talked about that too.
Okay, yep. You good?
Yep.
Appoints a community relations specialist. Liz Flood
Oh,
passed the test
Yeah,
and
she's
he's
a
reaching.
Oh, so it's just
Special
provisional,
school.
okay.
Right.
No money.
19, transfers an account clerk typist.
On the last one,
This is
What?
Melissa.
it's, so she passed the test, so we're gonna give her a provisional appointment.
Oh, she had it.
She had a provisional, now she's
was
going.
provisional.
Yeah, she
She
passed
passed
the
the
Now she
test.
gets to keep it.
Right, but it
There's no
says that
raise.
no change to her current salary or other level of benefits, so
Right, no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
is
nothing
that for a
changes.
period of time until,
No, she was provisional and now she's permanent.
got it, okay,
She just goes up through the steps now.
thank you.
Transfers a clerk typist.
This is for Melissa.
This is Melissa Foden.
Effective
All right,
September
so
18th.
this is not right because we're not,
This is the date that, Bill-
you're okay with Melissa Bowden going on September 18th, given everything going on?
We should be, yeah, we'll be out of position with the budget by that time.
Okay, even with that other,
Yeah, he agreed.
okay.
Okay.
Cool beans, man. Good, good.
20, approves a final site plan application for Riverview Lofts, Georgia Green Ventures LLC, 221 East Main Street, 30 and 31 McDermott Avenue. I imagine that's going 3-2. We shall see.
I saw something today about the cupola or something,
Oh, yeah, that's a problem. That was,
Just for
shadow lines or something.
architects.
no, it was something that I was gonna,
You know what I mean? 21, that was a wrong resolution, that's what I wanted to get that far. That's the old resolution.
what's the cupola issue was more an issue on Cornice, was more of a
Cornice.
problem because of, it would have rotted.
Shadow
and-
lines or something?
Water, something.
Right, has to do with maintenance issues and water.
And they're gonna fix it because it benefits them?
They're gonna fix it before the, get the building.
Yeah, okay, so it's not a ARB thing, it was that it was,
Well,
would-
it was
It'd
landmark.
be raised as an issue.
but if
Well-
they built it like it would, they would be sorry, is what.
They're saying there'd be a long-term maintenance issue.
Well, Landmarks approved it with the cornice, so it needs to go back to Landmarks.
And it's not going back to landmarks,
No.
we're moving this thing forward.
Yeah, another, we hit the.
They're the
Hold on
ones
for another
that,
month?
they're the ones that said to fix it, so they're fixing it, so, good. All right. What,
So 21 is an error, I accidentally put that in.
in
Yeah,
twice?
20 yeah, 20
Okay, 21 comes out. 22, corrects resolution awarding bid for food and meat products. Got nothing.
$55.90 for potato pancakes.
That's good.
I increased the food budget in the senior department too. Mainly, I thought I was increasing it so they got better food, but
They just need more food.
they need more food because they're feeding more
Well,
folks.
Charlie-
Because
Yeah,
Charlie's
more
so
food.
popular.
Yeah, Charlie makes a good,
Charlie makes a good meal.
that was a good hire. Okay. 23.
Charlie's birthday.
Charlie Klein's birthday?
Uh-huh.
Happy birthday
What was he,
to
50
Charlie Klein.
57? 56?
I took my finger off, or what did you just go to the?
We're talking about the
Probably younger than
seniors. I just wanna make an
52.
I
announcement
know,
that, you know, if you're over, 55, you go down, you get a full 5-course meal, Monday through Fridays at the senior center. I think it's 55.
55, I think it's older than that.
No, I thought it was 55 or 60. But
60.
you go down there, call them up,
I think it's
And,
$6.
it only costs $3, and you get a real good meal, down there. It's, your contributions is $3. If you can't afford $3, you really don't have to pay anything.
Oh.
But it's a good deal.
Danowski, you hanging out at our senior center?
Well, it's a good deal.
All right, 23.
I know that one, but what was the part-time maintenance mechanic?
Oh, that's what,
Part-time maintenance mechanic.
Yeah.
Who are the part-time maintenance mechanics?
We're advertising for,
Larry's going in too many
For
directions.
Fink? Yeah, they had for part-time maintenance mechanic.
yeah, I bet it's Freddie's job, 'cause I think the guy left too, right?
He did. All right, 23, authorization to publish advertisement for chemicals for the Riverhead Sewer District.
Here we go again. Shared services, baby.
Mike, what is it you want?
You don't have to bid for chemicals? Yes.
All your chemicals?
All the chemicals that we use.
Okay.
So it's bid ones you don't use.
All
24, confirms bid award for janitorial supplies 2017 and rejects proposal submitted by Interboro Packaging Corporation. So who's the part-time that are advertising?
senior center.
Okay.
Duh.
So we're leaving that in?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Confirms bid award for janitorial supplies and rejects proposal submitted. What the heck was the proposal?
We're back in your corporate affairs that was here.
They
that
didn't
did such
comply with
things.
our bid. Okay, sorry for them. 25, extends bid contract for lubricant items.
Don't let this one slide.
26, amends resolution 426. Jennifer Cook. Why are we increasing Jennifer level 3?
Put the wrong rate of paying.
26.
WS 26.
Summer's over, why we,
I don't know.
I questioned it, and actually they said that this is the max salary, you understand that, the max salary of that, and no one else pursues that.
So they're lowering the salary?
That's the max, so they're.
It's the most she can make in that level,
Right, exactly.
so they're maxing her out to the top pay.
Why? Larry, find out why. Find out why.
So she
I
doesn't
thought we
go,
were doing 2% increases.
just so she doesn't go to McDonald's, get a better job.
Yes, I spoke with Megan, she could look at the, and that's where she kind of fell out on.
That's all she said was that's the max salary.
Find out why Ray's paying her the max salary. Leave it in, find out why he's paying her the max salary. Maybe she's been here 10 years, I don't know.
Well, she's a level 3, so she's been here at least 3 years.
27, authorizes supervisor to execute an agreement with Thomas Reuters Corporation.
Are they the ones that do our?
Reuters did West Law.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what it is.
28, resolution to accept donation with terms and conditions from Riverhead MTAS. We discussed that last week, Jody. We're gonna name the entrance hall.
Yeah, we gotta name it after a dog.
Yep. That's a dog.
29, authorizes town of Riverhead to direct Claudette Grivaz to remove all litter, rubbish, garbage yard waste, noxious
Oh.
plants, grass, and/or rank vegetation in
neighborhood.
excess of
This
10
is
inches.
20 Jerome
This is
Court.
it, yeah. I
20
walked it the
Jerome
other
Court.
day, John.
Yeah,
I
finally.
went over there and I walked the property.
Did you?
Why don't you walk it with a
Awful.
lawnmower?
Awful.
Yes, it is.
Lawnmower.
Yeah.
One mowing about a herd of goats, maybe.
play baseball back there, you and I.
Yeah.
Where, back there?
Is she,
That road was
the
even
house
there.
vacant
Something I
Yeah.
must have-
since she left?
It's a new, yeah, I think she's in a nursing home.
Yeah, she's not
Is
doing
she
well.
still on the property or was it in foreclosure?
I don't know, because it was for sale, and then now there's no signs there or anything, so I was told it went to foreclosure, but I don't know, I contacted,
Well, it says directing her.
Kevin
to
Grattan.
yeah,
foreclosure.
directing her.
Can we,
Not a bank.
for also the bank?
Well,
Simple.
Richie,
No, we put it
Richie's
on
it.
the, no, we put it on the tax bill.
He may have already done that, that's why he made that resolution.
Right.
Authorize town of Riverhead to direct Kevin Grattan to remove noxious plants, same thing. Chapter 251.
Okay.
At,
That's what Shakespeare Lane.
Where is that one?
51 Jessica.
Oh, Jessica,
Jessica,
okay.
Jessica
Jessica, that's.
Drive, Aquabog.
Okay.
Almost done.
Yeah.
31, adopts local law to amend chapter 301 entitled zoning and land development of the town of Riverhead Hamlet Residential Zoning District. What do we do here?
That's for the turtle people.
Oh, turtle, yeah.
We did that.
We had the public hearing, we didn't adopt it.
this is
32,
good.
authorizes bow hunting for deer on town property at Enterprise Park at Calverton. 751 Sound Avenue, Calverton, 437 Youngs Avenue, Riverhead, Middle Road, Riverhead, from October 2nd to December 4th. Have at it.
Chasing
Got the
them to
lottery
road.
next month.
Yeah, Jerry Halpin, Pastor Halpin was out there scouting out the scat track.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, the trails and the scat to see where are the best places to go.
He used to go back to Kentucky,
Yeah.
like a Daniel Boone.
It's true, that's what he was doing. I talked to him the other day. He's like, yeah, I'm out here looking. I throw in scat, but that's what he's doing. 33, amends and ratifies Resolution 605 of 2017, approves the application of fireworks permit for Riverhead Raceway.
Yeah, there you went.
34, authorizes supervisor to execute a license agreement with Darkside Productions, doing their little haunted house again in
Coming
Wading
up.
River. 35, approves Chapter 255 application of Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, Greater New York, Chapter SF, Cycle for Life, Saturday, September 16th. 32 or 6, I don't know.
Halfway to St. Patty's Day.
I was gonna say, this is.
Already, wow.
It's
Halfway.
a lot of traffic. All right, we're good?
It's right in the middle of 5 o'clock mass, so they're gonna have to have the same,
They'll serve wine.
conditions that they have.
Yeah, we've never had a problem with them.
We never had a problem with
No,
it.
they think,
With Long Island's
36.
Saturday, September 16th, from 1 to 7 PM, the halfway to St. Patrick's Day, just,
It's on a Saturday, but it would,
so-
5 o'clock mass at St.
yeah, they
Isadore's.
addressed it last year too, and there was
so
no
if they
issue.
could just have the same conditions with security to block off the parking lot, yep.
Father
They
Robert.
took care of it.
Yeah, it says right there, the parking for this event shall be in accordance with the parking plan submitted with the applicant's 255 application, so that does not interfere with the parking for St. Isidore's Roman Catholic
I
Church.
know, but they always had a security guard at St. Isidore, making sure that cars that were going to the Long
They'll do
Island
it.
farm.
I think they use,
There's some plan,
Okay.
parking plan.
they
What are
pay
you
Polish
doing,
Wall some
Jake?
money. They use
Say
Polish
hello.
Wall money.
That's your handicap permit.
My son Jake.
That's it, see?
Hey, Jake.
How are you, Jake?
Thanks, Jake.
Ready for school? I hear you.
You're on camera, say hi, camera.
I know.
Nice shorts.
37, approves Chapter 255 application of Sierra Club electric car display entitled National Electric.
National
Week.
Drive Electric, we
What?
did that.
Where is this?
Tango Drive, Tango Outlet.
My wife would be a good candidate for electric car, because she just goes from Wading River to St. Isidore's most of the time. Except those times she runs
Use
up
more
to
natural
Smithtown, she'd be
resources
stuck
to
on
live
the
in
side
the
of the
cars
road
than
when
you
she's
do
out of
gas
it.
They're like 200.
Electric car is good if you travel a long period, a long distance.
She doesn't really, she doesn't even
No.
drive 10,000 miles. But she likes a big car, and I'm pretty sure that they don't make a boat as big as a Grand Marquis that's electric.
No.
Plus, you gotta drive that car into the ground before you replace it.
My Grand Marquis has 168,000 miles on it. That's
I know.
Mine has 103.
Authorize the retention of law firm Sinarek Kozakov, Messina, special counsel to defend legal action against Town of Riverhead commenced by luxury beachfront condo. We talked about this, Virginia
Yeah, we
Greco
spoke about that.
and Debbie Niehoff. Appoints a member to the 39 Parking District Advisory Committee. Who are we appointing?
Martin.
Martin Sinlewski.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's back.
He wants,
Yeah.
What's that parking plan to remove
He
all the
wants to
trees?
push it, yeah, right,
He just
let's-
doesn't like trees, Marty Saluski.
let's strip
That's
all
what
the
it is.
trees out.
40.
Nice parking stalls, and we're in the need for them.
Yeah, we are. I like trees, though.
Maybe tree posts.
40, resolution calling for a public hearing regarding lateral water main extension from Conic Care Research Recovery and Rehabilitation. That's moving forward.
They've been doing some work out at EPCAL too. They striped the roads, they've got all the,
Guess I
Oh,
got the message.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they
Did
were
you
kind
look
of
at what he's
threatened
got
with
to
it.
do? Well, did you look at the,
I heard you.
no, I have the thing on the corner of my desk of all the things I have to do that they haven't done over the
Yeah,
past 10
well,
years.
I gave it to them when they were in my office, the whole list from Vinnie Gordiello and.
Oh, yeah, he was on the phone
Yeah,
call.
so
I was
they're
even
working
out
on
of
it.
I'm tired of, well, really, Jill's tired of getting phone calls in December when they don't plow the roads
know.
and begging Geo to go in and plow the roads for them. You can't,
Yeah.
they can't build Betty Ford without having those roads, public
I
roads.
agree.
Betty Ford, baby.
That's it?
That's it.
And then
No,
the
we
one
got
that,
one
We got
at the
one
floor.
more, we got one more.
Yeah.
Assumes lead agency determination of significance pursuant to secret adopts local law to amend chapter 301 entitled zoning and land development of the code of the town of Riverhead.
What's that for, the rural thing?
Yeah, rural
Why did we
corridor.
do this?
Oh, this says, we had to do secra, this is for the main road, historic structures that would be eligible for the
Oh, yeah, yeah,
expansion
yeah,
and
yeah.
for the,
From
Got
105
it,
to
yep.
the south
That's a
Old
long
line
time ago.
on
It
25.
was a long time ago.
secra
Yeah,
just
it
got
was a
done.
long time ago.
Good.
Planning staff was busy doing other things, so that kinda got put
Betty
on the
Ford.
back burner.
All right. Is something else?
Yep, I have those dates, they changed them.
Of course they changed it.
So Diane, you'll make sure that this resolution gets in the packet
Oh.
for the,
yeah, this one, yep.
great, thank you.
So Wednesday, August 30th, 7 to 9, that was yesterday. Thursday, September 7th, 11 to 2, Islip Town Hall, 401 West Main Street. Islip is what, a public hearing?
Bill Bowling Alley.
And Friday, September 8th, Riverhead Center is a public hearing. So when are we supposed to vote on this then?
And then on the 12th, it is correct for you.
Thank you.
We'll adjourn.
Yeah, we're getting a motion to adjourn, because we,
Wanna make a motion to adjourn the,
Yeah,
work session?
absolutely.
we don't, we did exec, so.
We did exactly, so we're finished.
Thank you.
All right.
Hi, Joe.